Michigan is more than just a state.
This is my seat.
It's a powerhouse of innovation and grit. From the farmlands to neighborhoods of this Midwestern state, we are doers, movers, and shakers, trailblazers, fueled by a relentless spirit, a state of mind, body, and soul. Our differences make us unique, but it's our hustle and grit that binds us together. This Senate seat belongs to you. This seat represents the diversity of our people, communities, and businesses. And that's why I'm here to fight for you. The small business owners, college students, and creatives, it's time to shake up the norm and bring the power back to the people.
This is my seat.
This is your seat. Michigan, are you ready? Vote Hill Harper, U.S. Senate 2024.
Body up the hill, there's a way, if there's a will.
Dear Pierce, I'm recording this video for you because I'm about to make a big announcement. And it's going to be tough for us. You know, I'm not going to be able to tuck you in every night or do our nighttime prayers together. But these are sacrifices so many hardworking families have to make every single day. Fighting for what you believe in is hard enough, but it's worth doing when you found something that makes your heart beat faster. And for me, it's you. Yeah, I've started a nonprofit, owned a small business in Detroit, even beat cancer. Served on President Obama's cancer panel, earned Ivy League degrees, and written best-selling books. But for me, adopting you is the greatest thing I've done in my life. You see, the world you're growing up in doesn't feel like it's getting any better. It's more divisive and more dangerous. When you told me that you were afraid to go to school because of shootings, it's not freedom. Our economy works for the richest, while the most vulnerable have to work even harder than ever to keep up. That's not freedom. At the core of so much of this are too many politicians in office that don't really care about people. You see, what I learned on my grandfather's farm growing up is that when you plant something in good soil, you get something much better in return. That's why I'm raising you in Michigan, a community where people are kind, work hard, and believe the future is worth fighting for. Because every child in every neighborhood, in every town across Michigan deserves the freedom to flourish. I believe our government should work for the people, be a force for good, and protect our freedoms. And that won't happen if we keep electing the same type of people to office. That's why I'm running for the United States Senate, to represent Michigan. I love you, son, and I hope to make you proud.
Hi, I'm Hill Harper, and I'm running to be the next U.S. Senator for Michigan. And I'm in this race to represent the people of Michigan, not big donors, not the establishment. And I'm fighting for better working conditions for everyday people and better solutions from our so-called leaders in Washington. And now I'm stepping up to serve you. You see, we're building a movement that will bring material change for citizens. So can you chip in what you can today, $5, $10, $25, to elect an unbossed, unbought champion to go to the U.S. Senate?
If we tryna move smarter, go Hill Harper. See it in big bold letters, go Hill Harper.
enough of that lately. Tired of all these other runner-ups trying to lie to me. Hill Harper about to help build a stronger economy. Gotta fight for women's rights and affordable health care. Hill Harper here to make sure that we got the help there. Cause we need somebody that's gonna make sure that we really straight. And he got plans to decrease our insurance rate. We talking actor, author, father, activist, union leader, and Harvard Law School graduate. Once he get in, trust me, it ain't no stopping him. He'll gonna bring the fight for us all back to Washington. Hey, if you tired of working harder, vote Hill Harper. If we trying to move smarter, vote Hill Harper. See it in big bold letters, vote Hill Harper. Gotta believe in better, vote Hill Harper. If you tired of working harder, vote Hill Harper. If we trying to move smarter, vote Hill Harper. See it in big bold letters, vote Hill Harper. Gotta believe in better, vote Hill Harper.
You got to call them. You got to educate them and say, you know what, there's a brother on the ballot August 6th. There's been a higher percentage of black U.S. presidents than black U.S. senators. Think about that. There's only been 12 black U.S. senators out of 2003. And there's only been 4 out of those 12 in the history of America that did it the way I'm attempting to do it, which is win a primary and then win a general. 8 of the 12 were either first when they got in, were either appointed first or run through special election. So what we're trying to do is extremely rare. The last primary African-American turnout was, what would you guess for the last primary?
I have no idea.
Just take a guess. Percentage.
20%, 30%?
Yeah, that would be wonderful. 10%. How are we going to elect candidates when we're turning out?
How do we combat voter apathy, especially in our community?
You're making my point. If you know someone in Michigan, you got to call them. You got to educate them and say, you know what, there's a brother on the ballot August 6th. Hi, I'm Hill Harper, and I'm running to be the next U.S. Senator for Michigan. And I'm in this race to represent the people of Michigan, not big donors, not the establishment. And I'm fighting for better working conditions for everyday people and better solutions from our so-called leaders in Washington. And now I'm stepping up to serve you. You see, we're building a movement that will bring material change for citizens. So can you chip in what you can today, $5, $10, $25, to elect an unbossed, unbought champion to go to the U.S. Senate?
So we're here in Vintage Easter Market, great vintage store, looking for a seat that I can sit in the U.S. Senate. I think I may have found it. This is perfect. Will you do me the honor of signing the seat, because it's our seat for the U.S. Senate.
Michigan is more than just a state.
This is my seat.
It's a powerhouse of innovation and grit. From the farmlands to neighborhoods of this Midwestern state, we are doers, movers, and shakers, trailblazers, fueled by a relentless spirit, a state of mind, body, and soul. Our differences make us unique, but it's our hustle and grit that binds us together. This Senate seat belongs to you. This seat represents the diversity of our people, communities, and businesses. And that's why I'm here to fight for you. The small business owners, college students, and creatives, it's time to shake up the norm and bring the power back to the people.
This is my seat.
This is your seat. Michigan, are you ready? Vote Hill Harper, U.S. Senate 2024.
Everybody up the hill, there's a wave, there's a will.
Michigan voters will choose their next senator this election year. Actor and Detroit native Hill Harper is one of many candidates now in the race.
The Democrat is known for his work on CSI New York, Limitless, and The Good Doctor. He's running against Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin and businessman Nasser Beydoun. Voters will decide in the August 6th primary who will be the Democratic nominee. And Hill Harper joins us live in the studio tonight. Thank you for being here.
Great to be here. Thank you.
So for the viewers who haven't heard an interview with you before, we got to start with the why. You've had a successful career on some big shows people might know you from. Why turn away from all of that and try to head to Washington?
You know, I've always been about service and about figuring out a way to have impact and legacy, whether it's through my foundations or my books or my acting. And this is an extension of that. People are hurting. So many people. I was just at a house over the weekend where somebody invited me over to say, Hill, you got to deal with this issue when you're in the Senate. It's the unhoused population. There was black mold all over the walls. We removed a door. As soon as the door hit the ground, someone outside picked it up and ran away with it. Point is that there's so many people that don't feel represented. They don't feel that Washington is actually helping them. They think it's actually hurting them, and they want real representation.
Oftentimes we see actors sometimes go into the world of politics, but there can be some concern for voters in terms of whether or not this is someone who can represent them in the political arena because of the background. You mentioned your foundation and that being something that you're proud of. What is your answer to them?
Well, you know, it's quite simple. You know, I'm a unique individual just because, you know, I went to Harvard Law School, graduated at the top of my class there. I went to Harvard's Kennedy School of Government, graduated at the top of my class. President Obama appointed me to the President's Cancer Panel in 2011, where I served actually working with then Vice President Biden's moonshot to cancer, where we made recommendations to the White House on cancer policy and funding cancer research. And so those are my kind of, as you say, whether it's the law side or whether it's the government side being appointed by the president, there's that. But there's also, yeah, I'm an actor who, you know what the beautiful thing about being an actor is that you learn to you learn empathy. You learn to walk in someone else's shoes. And the beautiful thing is combining those skills. I'm also a small business owner. So if I get elected to the Senate, watch this. I'll be the only active union member in the U.S. Senate. I'm a 32-year union member who's elected to the National Board of My Union. I'd be the only one of two parents of a school-age child. My son is actually here. Single parents know what that's like to work and actually bring your child along, and we need that representation. I'd also be one of the only few small business owners. I own a small business here in downtown Detroit, the Roasting Plant Coffee Shop downtown at Campus Martius. So when we talk about it, we want that level of diversity in the U.S. Senate. We just don't want career politicians there. I hear it from people all over the state that they're tired of asking these politicians for solutions that never come. And, you know, my father was a psychiatrist, and he always used to say the definition of insanity was continue to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. We keep electing the same type of politicians over and over again, yet they don't deliver for people. And this is a people-powered campaign.
So you are relatively new to Michigan. You've been here several years. Why should Michiganders trust that you can represent everyone from here in Southeast Michigan up to the UP?
So
and what brought you here?
I've been to all 83 counties. I moved here 8 years ago. I wanted to raise my son here. You know, at the end of the day, there was a great policy that we used to have here that hopefully we're all fighting to get back, and that's a media tax credit. I came here and I did a number of projects. And also my roommate, when I was at Harvard Law School, is a plastic surgeon here, Dr. Charles Boyd, and he's always, man, you got to move here, you got to move here. So I said to myself, when I raise kids, when I have my children, I want to raise them here. I want them to turn out like folks here as opposed to Hollywood. And so my son's 8 years old, and I've been here 8 years. And it's been a blessing. The greatest people in the world are here. And I always tell people, Coleman Young wasn't from here. He's from Alabama, too. So I was born in Iowa. So there's a Midwestern roots that I have. But at the end of the day, it's not always where you're from, it's where you're at. And it's what you're willing to do for people. And my track record of service of people, obviously through my books and through my foundation and being an activist, is what I stand on. And I'm proud of that record. There's no other person in this field that has a degree from Harvard Law School. There's no other person in this field that has a degree from Harvard's Kennedy School of Government. There's no other person in this field that has had a successful career like I've had. And I'm proud of that.
Quickly, before we let you go, what are some of the biggest issues that you think this state specifically is dealing
Without
with?
question, we need to pass universal health care. We need to get that done. It's the #1 cause of personal bankruptcies. GoFundMe, 1/3 of GoFundMes are medical related. GoFundMe is not a health plan. We need to pass women's reproductive freedom, women's reproductive rights. It has to get codified federally. We need to pass the PRO Act and undergird our unions, give the National Labor Relations Board real teeth, real meat. And we need to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights and Advancement Act. We got to undergird the fact that we've let the Voting Rights Act of 1965 lapse is a problem. So we also have to get rid of Citizens United. It's the #1 thing that's killing our democracy, without question. Untethered, unlimited, dark money in our politics. My opponent is a recipient of a great deal of that type of money and that type of funding. We got to get that out of politics if people are going to get represented as opposed to special interest, corporate interest. The Michigan Constitution and the U.S. Constitution begin with the same 3 words, we the people. They don't start with we the super PAC or we the politician. And people need to be represented first, and that's what my candidacy does.
Before we do let you go, I just want to make sure to ask about an issue that is deeply important to many of our viewers, and that's the war in Gaza.
Yeah.
Do you support a permanent ceasefire, and what is your level of support for supporting the Israeli military?
Yeah, so I called for ceasefire in early November. Over 75% of Michigan Democrats support ceasefire. And, my opponent is out of line with, I believe, what Michigan Democrats want. And without question, when people pay their tax dollars, I don't think that they're thinking that they're going to fund the killing of children overseas. And so we cannot rubber stamp spending for overseas wars. And I have a saying that I say all the time: there is no good war and there's no bad peace. And we have to, we as a country have to follow that, and we want to follow that. I was at a senior facility today talking with people, and they're very upset about how their tax dollars are being used. And too many of our politicians are rubber stamping policy because they're in the pocket of special interest. My opponent has received over $600,000 from AIPAC. And, that's a problem. I got offered $20 million to actually run against a candidate that AIPAC wants to take out, the only Palestinian member of Congress. And so we have to understand that with Citizens United in place, these type of offers happen because they think money can be determinative outcome of election, and that's all anybody wants. And I can't be bought, I can't be bossed, I can't be bullied, and I refuse to be.
All right, well, that is our time for today. Hill Harper, candidate for U.S. Senate. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Hill Harper, and I'm running to be the next U.S. Senator for Michigan. And I'm in this race to represent the people of Michigan, not big donors, not the establishment. And I'm fighting for better working conditions for everyday people and better solutions from our so-called leaders in Washington. And now I'm stepping up to serve you. You see, we're building a movement that will bring material change for citizens. So can you chip in what you can today, $5, $10, $25, to elect an unbossed, unbought champion to go to the U.S. Senate? Michigan is more than just a state.
This is my seat.
It's a powerhouse of innovation and grit. From the farmlands to neighborhoods of this Midwestern state, we are doers, movers, and shakers, trailblazers, fueled by a relentless spirit, a state of mind, body, and soul. Our differences make us unique, but it's our hustle and grit that binds us together. This Senate seat belongs to you. This seat represents the diversity of our people, communities, and businesses. And that's why I'm here to fight for you. The small business owners, college students, and creatives, it's time to shake up the norm and bring the power back to the people.
This is my seat.
This is your seat. Michigan, are you ready? Vote Hill Harper, U.S. Senate 2024.
Everybody up the hill, there's a way, if there's a will.
In the echoes of our strides, where the pavement meets ambition, we chant a chorus of resilience. Win with us. Where dreams turn to plans, where unity fuels our climb. In the vast fields of possibility, it's never them who can extinguish the fire that burns within us.
tethered not by the challenges we face, but by the victories we claim. Stand tall, march proud, win with us. Because it's in our collective spirit that we find our greatest strength.
All of a sudden they want to win with a six, but ain't spin with a six.
Dear Pierce, I'm recording this video for you because I'm about to make a big announcement. And it's gonna be tough for us. You know, I'm not gonna be able to tuck you in every night or do our nighttime prayers together. But these are sacrifices so many hardworking families have to make every single day. Fighting for what you believe in is hard enough, but it's worth doing when you found something that makes your heart beat faster. And for me, it's you. Yeah, I've started a nonprofit, owned a small business in Detroit, even beat cancer. Served on President Obama's cancer panel, earned Ivy League degrees, and written best-selling books. But for me, adopting you is the greatest thing I've done in my life. You see, the world you're growing up in doesn't feel like it's getting any better. It's more divisive and more dangerous. When you told me that you were afraid to go to school because of shootings, it's not freedom. Our economy works for the richest, while the most vulnerable have to work even harder than ever to keep up. That's not freedom. At the core of so much of this are too many politicians in office that don't really care about people. You see, what I learned on my grandfather's farm growing up is that when you plant something in good soil, you get something much better in return. That's why I'm raising you in Michigan. A community where people are kind, work hard, and believe the future is worth fighting for. Because every child in every neighborhood, in every town across Michigan,
Guys from Detroit Unity Temple, we'd like to welcome everyone to our spiritual home. This is a special occasion, so I'd just like to say thank you for being here. Let's give an applause for this moment. Giving time to God, you know it's a good thing, right? So right now, I'd like to take this time just to say thank you again as I pass this off to Ms. Alicia Bell.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I am Alicia Bell, Chair of the Wayne County Commission, and I want to thank all of you for joining us today. And thank you, Pastor Dyke, for allowing us to be here in your beautiful home here at Detroit Unity Temple Church. Thank you so much. Well, you know, in light of what's happened in the last 24 hours, let me just say, first off, thank you to President Biden for his 50 years of service to this country. And let me also thank him for endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States. to be a phenomenal president. We all agree here that Black women deserve a seat at the table. And in this case, with Vice President Harris, she deserves to be the head of the table. And this is a great segue to what we're going to talk about here today. As you know, we have a very important Senate race right here in Michigan. And it's imperative that the entire community hear from the candidates, all of the candidates. We need to hear where they stand on issues important to us as Michiganders, also as to where they stand on issues important to us as a community. This is usually done during a debate. And finally, there is one scheduled. But to our dismay, it will not include any African American women journalists. We have outstanding women journalists right here in Detroit and in Michigan, such as Hillary Poston from Channel 2, Rhonda Walker and Kim McGill on Channel 4, Karen Clifford and Glenda Lewis from Channel 7, Karen Dumas, great columnist, Mildred Gaddis, who has her own show on 105.9, and this is just to name a few. Black women deserve to be at the table. Yes. Furthermore, this debate will not be televised. It will not have a studio audience, and it's happening a month after absentee ballots have been sent out. So many people have already voted. So is this really a debate? No. Is it a debate that people are going to see to make educated decisions? No. And that's why we stand here today. We stand here demanding the following. We demand that we have an African American woman as a moderator of this debate. We demand that this debate be videotaped live. We demand that people attend, because right now there's no audience. So we demand that people attend and that in order for it to be effective, we demand that press attend with cameras so that people across our region can see the debate. And if these changes are not adhered to by the 25th of July, we're going to urge Phil Harper and his campaign to not participate in an event that excludes Black women from the process. We deserve a seat at the table. I was on a call last night with over 40,000 African American women and women of color around the country supporting Vice President Harris to be the President of the United States. But we need to rally right here in Detroit. We need to rally right here in Detroit to make sure that our Black women journalists are part of this debate. We need to make sure that they are part of the process. And if we don't say anything about it, who will, right? So these women who are here today, we all stand to make sure that Black women in Detroit, Black women in Michigan, Black women across the country have a seat at the table. Gary from Lakewood Village, who does have a seat at the table.
Church home growing up, believe it or not. So I might have a seat at the table, believe me, they keep trying to snatch it from underneath me. So I wrote this out because, as some of you all know, I can go off on a tangent, so I want to make sure that you understand where I'm coming from. So as mayor of Lakewood Village, I must express my deep concern and disappointment regarding the upcoming debate between candidates Alyssa Slotkins and Gil Harper. This event's exclusion of Black women journalists and its restriction of broad community access are both unacceptable and a direct affront to our democratic principles. The decision not to televise the debate, to ban cameras, audience members, and reporters is a significant blow to transparency and public engagement. Moreover, the exclusion of Black women from participating as moderators is a blatant disregard for diversity and representation in our political discourse. This is not just about a debate, it is about honoring the voices of our community, especially of Black women who have historically been marginalized. The group is demanding that these restrictions be lifted and that a woman be included in the moderation panel. We will provide a list, as Chairwoman has, of qualified Black women journalists who are more than capable of serving as moderators for this important event. It is imperative that we hold ourselves to the highest standards of inclusivity and fairness, ensuring that every voice in our community is heard and respected. This debate should reflect the values of our democracy, and that includes active participation of Black women journalists and our community. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Leslie Love, a former state representative. And as what you've already heard, that we are demanding that we have an African-American woman moderator on this, for this debate. I want to take it a little step further. As a person who's been elected and re-elected and served, as a person who ran against an incumbent, who ran when it was an open seat, and who was someone ran against me when I was the incumbent, I always showed up for a debate. And it's important that we maintain our democracy right now. You can't just think you can run and be coronated to become our next U.S. Senator. Not since I've been alive have we had a competition, that we've had a primary. It is only fair to the voters, and every voter wants to know who they're going to vote for. And we need to hear your voice. Having a debate in a room with just you and Hill Harper is not a debate. That's called a private conversation. This is a myth. We deserve to know who our candidates are. Debate is a part of the process. It's the gauntlet that you have to run. Because when you are representing Democrats, when you are representing our community, when you are representing all the different kind of Black women, including all the beautiful faces here today, we need to hear from you. We need to understand that you understand our issues, that you're committed to community. How would you speak and handle difficult situations, whether you're in the caucus room, whether you're defending your vote, or whether you're just doing this, giving a press conference. But we need to know that. And one of the ways that the citizenry needs to know that and understand a candidate's views and opinion is by including themselves in debate. And you know, I support Hill Harper because he ain't scared. He is ready. He wants to have the debate. He'll have the debate on the island. He'll have the debate on Belle Isle. He'll have the debate in the middle of 7 Mile. It doesn't matter. He is ready. And so I'm here to support him, and I encourage all, you know who you are. Because I don't want to invoke the name here. The name Hill Harper is the only name I want to invoke in this space. Have an honest debate. Open it to the press. Open it to the public, and let it be televised. My name is Leslie Love, and I support Hill Harper. Thank you so much.
Any of our other ladies like to say a word?
Yeah.
Hill Harper, you want to come and say a word, sir?
Everybody, I just want to say, when you think about where we are in this moment in this country, we think about the fact that Black women have been the leaders of the Democratic Party. When you see the folks that, when the party shows up and says, save the country, save democracy, they're really saying, Black women save us. And that's really what it is. And for the idea that we're going to have a Democratic primary, and in Michigan exclude Black women from that conversation, it's outrageous. It's disrespectful to all voters in Michigan. It's disrespectful to Black women. It's disrespectful to me as a candidate. My mother lives with me here at her 86 years of age, and she's wondering why she can't come and watch the debate. Particularly, and folks have to understand this, all the candidates months ago, now this is before even the new year, had said and agreed to multiple debates through an impartial debate group that had set those things up. And so my opponent in this race pulled out of the first one, which was supposed to be in Mackinac. And the interesting thing about that, all of the journalists from across the state were there. It was going to be televised on PBS across the state. And she was actually there. Meaning it's not that it wasn't like, couldn't say not available, couldn't say in Washington voting on some legislation. She was on the island. And we should have had the debate. In fact, the debate should have continued even if her podium was empty. But somehow there were machinations to pull the entire debate down. And then we had another debate scheduled the next week. Would TV8 in Grand Rapids? She was not available for that. Then Washtenaw County Democrats had a candidate forum. She was not available for that. And Redford County Township had a candidate forum. She was not available for that. The AKAs, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and their political action committee had a candidate forum. She was not available for that. The Michigan Democratic Party Black Caucus had a candidate forum. She was not available for that. So I think that there were more that I just can't remember. Those are the ones I can remember, and I know I was there, and I know she was not there. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, someone who is out here asking for your vote, our votes, in what is arguably, in the last 30 years, the most important federal seat in Michigan, will not show up to talk about what she believes and she feels, and to not respect the voter. Why would we ever reward that person with a vote?
That's right.
Because if that person will treat you this way now, when they need you, how are they going to treat you when you put them in a seat for 6 years? You think you'll ever see them? You may get to go to a gala where you take a picture for $250 that you had to pay for. But you think you'll actually be represented? Shirley Chisholm said, if you don't have a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. Why? Because you have to have a seat at the table. So I just want to say, you all are an inspiration to me. You all represent the best of what we have. You represent the best of the Democratic Party and needs in the party leadership. And so this is actually a message I'm sending to the party leadership. Because let's be honest, the party leadership is allowing this candidate to get away with it. Because to be clear, if the party leadership said, listen, you're going to have to get in line and do some debates and show up because you're actually hurting the party, she would get in line. Then the other piece is to the media. The media is actually allowing this to happen. If the media was actually calling her to task and actually demanding that she show up again, she would. So there are culpable co-conspirators in this story that we must point at. But the beautiful thing is that the party establishment leadership doesn't vote, money doesn't vote, polls don't vote, the media doesn't vote, people vote. And we the people, because the first 3 words of the Michigan Constitution, the first 3 words of the U.S. Constitution are exactly the same. We the people. It doesn't say we the media, it doesn't say we the super PAC, it doesn't say we the politician, or we the political party. We the people. We the people must demand transparency, we must demand being informed, and we must elect people that show up. That's right. That's right. Let's go get it.
Let's go get it. And her absence speaks volumes about what she feels is important to us. Speaks volumes. Thank you, Mr. Harper. Thank you for the wonderful ladies here. Thank you all for being here. This is so important. We would be remiss if we did not bring this issue to light. We would be remiss as Black women in this community if we didn't bring this issue to light. So thank you all for showing up, showing out, and making a message to the powers that be that we want to debate, that people can see, people can hear, and a Black. Black woman democracy.
Yes, Commission Chair Bell and late women. One of the things that came to mind when I saw, I came home from Michigan Advance, MichiganAdvance.com. One of the things that came to mind when I saw the press release a couple hours ago, and this might be a question for candidate Harper, any one of you, perhaps even Greg Bowens, who's here, but there are advocacy groups, journalistic advocacy groups, that have played a role over the years when situations like this happen. What comes to mind, somebody's been around the block a few times, the Detroit chapter of the National Association of Black Journalists has gotten involved in campaigns on news issues like this arise. Any conversation for anybody in the room, has there been a conversation with DC and ABJ, the Detroit chapter of the National Association of Black Journalists? And if you lift that up, how is that going? How has that gone?
Yeah, we approached them several times. And
at that time they host debates or candidate forums.
Yeah, we approached them several times, and they have decided to try and stand pat and not be involved, citing a recent history of them doing that kind of stuff. Even when I push back and say, well, I remember when. But yeah, that's the deal. They're complicit in the way that, unfortunately, the way that Hill just expressed.
Well, just as a final follow-up, at Michigan Advance, we published a piece maybe about a month ago, and I believe the headline literally read from candidate Harper's voice, speaking to or about Congresswoman Slotkin. She's afraid to debate me. Is that still the position that you have today? And I'm talking about a debate, not a candidate's match. I think you're all drawing the distinction of what those are and the elements of what, oftentimes what debates mean. It's seasoned journalists, professional journalists asking, questions, a debate format. As y'all know, many of y'all are elected officials. A candidate's night can be very different than a debate, right? I don't know, anybody's want to speak to it.
I think that there is, I don't think that there's a fear of debating. I think that there's a fear of exposing her voting record. The fact that she didn't co-sponsor the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, she doesn't want people to know that. She doesn't want people to know that she didn't co-sponsor Medicare for all in the 117th and 118th Congress. She doesn't want people to know that she didn't co-sponsor the Green New Deal. She doesn't want people to know that just last week she voted to not fund the State Department to confirm the Gaza Health Ministry's records on death toll and injury toll in Gaza. She doesn't want people to know that even the week before that she voted to sanction the ICC and calling what Netanyahu's actions were war crimes and crimes against humanity. And then even the week before, around FISA 702, which allows for warrantless surveillance of American citizens. And then even before that, there was a piece around the college funding of literacy grants. And she voted against that in 2020. She doesn't want people to know that she voted against the president and the rest of her Democratic colleagues in 2020 voting against student loan debt relief. And she doesn't want people to know that in her first term she bragged that she voted against her party 55 times. Wow. She doesn't want people to know that she took a $2,800 max out check from Harlan Crow, the same person that created corruption with Clarence Thomas. And why do you take a max out check from Harlan Crow and you don't return it? You don't do that because you know you're going to get millions of dollars in dark money from this person. So that's what, I don't think it's a fear of debate. I think it's a fear of exposing her record to the Democratic voter. Because you have to remember that much of the Democratic voter, they don't know that she's taken over $600,000 from AIPAC. And I refuse to take any money from AIPAC. And so these are issues that I don't think she wants put out on a public general forum, because if she could just skate without anybody knowing, people just assume, well, she must be a good Democrat. But are you a good Democrat if you vote against your party 55 times in your first term? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, and I think that the voter has to decide.
State Senate, will it impact Columbus Harris for being the president of the United States?
I think it'll enhance it. I think it absolutely will enhance it. You'll have more people energized, ready to come out in November for the general. It will absolutely enhance, and it will show Michigan in a different light as well. That we don't play, and we're going to vote for good people to be in office. So absolutely, will energize our base. It will energize the Ganders, and hopefully that will spread across the country. But it could not be a detriment whatsoever when Hill Harper goes to the
Good afternoon, folks. Good afternoon. I am so sick and tired of this so-called vote disenfranchising us black folks and taking advantage of our vote and asking us to do things in the right way and we being treated like stuff. I am so tired of trying to rescue everybody's mistake and they won't care about our absolute. What can we do to make sure that we have everybody in place, the right people? Because under the leadership of Kevin Harper, the 12th Congressional District just endorsed Mrs. Harper. Right. So therefore, what can we do to energize our brothers and sisters, black, brown, or anything around? What can we do to get them out there, galvanize the vote, and show these people who don't want to come here, who use the phrase as hot sauce in my purse? What can we do to galvanize the people to get out here to vote? Because we need every single vote. You're not just voting for Hill. You're not just voting for Campbell. You're voting for democracy. So we need to get on board here.
Do the work, absolutely. I mean, hey, you're a great spokesperson. So I want to see you out there doing the work. And you telling your friends and your family members and really getting to these young people. Unfortunately, I have a young lady told me she's 32 that no one she knows votes. No one she knows votes. And that's a sad commentary. So it takes us to meet them where they are. We have to find that common denominator so that we can meet them where they are so that we can get them to the polls, whatever that may be. Whatever's interest to them, find it and make it real to them. And then ensure that all of our black brothers and sisters, brown and in between, like you stated, go out there all around, go out there and vote. This is not a game. This is not a drill. This is for real. We have to have everyone out there. And it takes each and every one of us to go out there and get the messages that relate to our young people, to our seniors, to whoever thinks they're going to sit this one out. Democracy is on the line. Our freedoms are on the line. And making sure that people understand that is our responsibility. Our responsibility. That's right. Amen. Yeah.
So what can we do? I agree that we have to do things that we didn't do before, but it's also, we have got to learn how to hold people accountable for their mistakes. And that means that when it comes around, like we were just saying, start at the top of the Democratic Party, then you should say officially on notice.
Yeah, right.
Who's the next person? Who are we grooming? Or the next to be the next chair? So I think that one thing we can't be afraid. One thing I can say, I learned that fear only encourages me. So I will say, because I know nobody else will want to say it. Well, February, except Sherry. If this don't go the way that I think it should go, in February 2024, we're going to have a new Democratic Party leader. Okay, you know what? I'm so focused on the fact that I'm sick and tired also of being marginalized. I'm sick and tired of people calling me when it's an election year and I don't see you anymore. So I'm extremely tired, and I'm tired of, and this is where I'm putting my foot square in my mouth, of the black people that cow down, accept the money, accept the positions that are BS positions, just so they can be in the room and pretend like they are doing something when they really aren't. So I think there is, this is going to be enlightening, both with Hill Harper and with our new president. It's going to be enlightening. So 2025.
Yeah, it's going to be loud.
They usually say that revolution will not be televised. That's what they are saying. But this revolution will be if we do something. I would like to propose and suggest old school conversation. Our radio and TV stations are owned and operated for the public and for us. We have to be aggressive. This is when, and being in journalism, people will call a reporter about the way they wear their hair or how they dress. I would like to propose that if everyone would talk to your group of individuals, have them call every station, right, day in and day out. Give them, that little telephone tree concept, and ask about where is he. Just ask, where is the conversation about this election? That is a do or die conversation for us here in Michigan. That this is relevant and the conversation, if she doesn't show up, he will. But see, he is right. The media is going based on ratings and money. Oh yeah. That's just call it like a smoke. We need to take in, this is an easy one. You can do this at home. You can be 15 or 115. I would suggest any organizations or individuals, your church individuals, sororities, etc., give them a list of the stations in your marketplace and ask them, where's the conversation about the next senator of Michigan?
You have a question? I just have a comment. Okay, we'll take it next. I also just want to add that considering where we are in this space, that we still have to care. We cannot give up hope and faith. We cannot get discouraged and tired. We have to stay in it and press even harder forward. And I know a lot of things can happen. I can't stand this politics. This is not the time. This is so unique. In every election, we say the same thing. This is the most important election of our time. But look, we've got wars in nations. And the United States is involved in all of that. We are a leader in these conversations. We cannot forget our place in all of this, in the global conversation. And so we look at these higher offices, but we also are paying attention to what happens on the local level. And you're looking at local elected officials that will daily impact your life, what your car insurance will be. If you got to buckle up your seatbelt, whatever your retirement, your education, all of that. And so we don't give up. That's some self-determination. That's some still I care. And you got to put in a little bit more, still I care. Like still I rise and still I care. To show up and show out and make history in Michigan and make history in the United States of America. So we got to stay engaged like that because I just love this country so much. I love myself so much, and most importantly, I love my people so much. I got to do this. Yeah. What's coming, man? Come on, stand up.
I just want to make a comment that, I have family members that are in Mrs. Lockman's district. I supported her back in 2018. She's running as she ran because of her mom for health care. People think that she actually does support universal health care. But I talk to people every day. Like I've been volunteering for over 6 months now. So this is a statewide election. No disrespect that, about black people in Detroit, but people up in, the northern areas of Michigan, people that I talk to in Oakland County, they want to debate too. And they have questions. So now it puts me in a predicament where I gotta guess why Alyssa would vote a certain way. Like I know somebody asked me if they heard that Alyssa didn't vote or she didn't support the Cannabis Expungement Act or the George Floyd. And why? Well, if we had a debate, I would know why. So then I'm gonna just give it my best guess. And I'm gonna say that I think that she pulled out of supporting the George Floyd Justice Act because she has Edom County, which is one of the most racist counties, and they actually had issued like a public emergency due to racism, and I think that that's why she didn't. But that's just my best guess. So I Like, I can't answer her questions. So when I'm going around talking to people, I'm giving my best answers, but I don't know. So it really just keeps us all misinformed and, or just uneducated. So everybody wants to know, even people that supported her. You know, I see people every day like, I voted for her. I didn't know any of this. They want to know. You know,
They deserve to know. We all do.
That's the reason you need to call that radio station, that TV station, that cable station, and let them know what's happening there. See, they think that they're just isolated and it's just us. Correct. But if individuals who they count on in terms of numbers, money, and ratings, viewers, eyeballs, you call it, you call it, you call it. It's like, oh, so you better come here. We can get votes by calling the media on the carpet. We're not beating them up. We're just asking for information. Information. The only reason right now, we don't have a lot of days to try to figure this out. Right. We don't have that luxury. We got to think like, if we get in our car, push that button, make that phone call, and tomorrow call all the other people. Can you imagine the 50 calls tomorrow. 50. They don't even know you. It has impact.
She would just show up and say, and negotiate an honest debate or political roundtable. That would be, that's integrity. But she won't even do that, and that's a problem. Because people, whether you're up north or in the Lower Peninsula, we should hear from our candidates. And to me, that's like, what does that say? As Sherry's elected, Rico, all of us, former elected, we don't power down. I wish somebody would. I wish somebody would take me to task. But the fact that you are sitting elected and you are scurrying away from this moment, this special moment in history, what does that say about the candidate? It's not attractive. It's not attractive. So if you don't want to share with us, I don't want to give you my vote.
All right.
I'm not even saying that she has to show up. That's not where I am. I'm saying that he gets the information out. He creates the environment. It's almost like this is his time. If we can have a whole week and begging her to show up. Right. We got a candidate, a person who is really involved in our community, is already standing tall. That's what I'm talking about. Let him tell the story, his story, and let us vote at that way.
All right. Yeah, 2 weeks off, 2 weeks. Do we know what to do? Go ahead and say what we're doing. Get that card free going to all the stations so we can make this happen. Thank you all for coming out tonight, this afternoon. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies. Thank you guys for allowing us to be in here today. Thanks so much. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Hill Harper, and I'm running to be the next U.S. Senator for Michigan. And I'm in this race to represent the people of Michigan, not big donors, not the establishment. And I'm fighting for better working conditions for everyday people and better solutions from our so-called leaders in Washington. And now I'm stepping up to serve you. You see, we're building a movement that will bring material change for citizens, So can you chip in what you can today, $5, $10, $25, to elect an unbossed, unbought champion to go to the U.S. Senate?